So this is the self-development with tactics book. So this one's gonna be all about talent. And it's gonna be about the little book of talent as far as I remember. And yeah, it's hopefully gonna be a cool one. It's hopefully gonna be a pretty interesting episode because the last one was pretty cool. So this is the second one. If you want to check out the first one, then please do so. It's, I think, pretty cool. I think it's been a pretty cool episode and also a relatively valuable episode, I consider, and I would say, and I would suggest. And yeah, therefore, we're just going to go ahead after the intro as always. With the intro being played, and with that being said, hello, welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. I'm pretty happy to be here, as always, and we're going to see. I know we're going to see what this episode is going to give us, what this episode's going to be all about. And yes, you're probably going to see me, and now you see the book. And it is also just, it's a little bit too big. Let's do it like this. So yesterday we stopped with tip 18 out of 52 as far as I remember. Therefore, we're going to go ahead with tip 19. Don't do drills, instead play smaller. Oh, we also had that one. Because I've also wondered, like, why did I stop at tip 18? Like, why didn't I just stop at tip 20? But I've actually stopped at tip 20. It's really like, not that easy to say. But yeah, tip 21, think in images. Create a vivid image for each chunk you want to learn, which I think is a very good one. And when I'm trying to memorize something and when I'm trying to learn something, that I'm also trying to do so, even though, of course, the problem behind the whole book is I think that you could say, and you could argue that why should I memorize things? Why should I learn things that I just don't need? Because all the things that I need, I'm just gonna remember anyway, and I'm gonna memorize anyway. So what's the point of that? And I gotta have to say, like, yeah, you're pretty right. But the thing is, sometimes we have to learn things, which often feels cool. And I don't know, like just making a game out of it and making it just a little bit fun and just seeing how you can progress in that space, I think is pretty cool and pretty interesting as well and pretty valuable per se. And yeah, I don't know. Like, of course, I mean, if there's something else you can focus on and you want to focus more on and you just feel it makes sense and it's making you happy, then of course, please do that. But yeah. Tip 22, pay attention immediately after you make a mistake. A vital instant, 0.25 seconds after a mistake is made. Yes, maybe, I don't know. Tip 23, visualize the wires of your brain forming new connections. This is actually one that was already said quite, but I've actually tried it out today because I've remembered it and I don't know if it's working. Maybe it is working, maybe just thinking that it is gonna work is just letting it work quite, even though I don't know. I don't know if you can just really influence such a physical activity, such a physical or maybe even a chemical process by thought. But I don't know, like there just gotta be some studies, maybe not, probably not, at least not in such a specific way. Tip 23, visualize the wires of your brain getting faster. Once again, I don't know. Tip 25, shrink the space. Poets and writers shrink the field by using restrictive meters to force themselves into a small creative form, such as with haiku and micro writing exercises. Comedy writers use the 140 character arena of Twitter as a space to hone their skills. What's the minimum space needed to make these reads and reps ? Where is extra space hindering fast and easy communication? And I think it is often the case that too many possibilities can actually harm your productivity and harm your maybe also your delightfulness, because as I'm thinking about it, I'm at a time it depends, working on a script which is implementing all the things that I should be learning and I have to learn, and I'm not doing it in InDesign. I'm not doing it in software that gives me just such a lot of options and such a lot of freedom. I'm doing it in Pages. Why I'm doing it in Pages? Just because I don't have that many possibilities, and the possibilities that I'm having are easily influenced, easily manipulated, easily used. Because I don't know, if I want to intend something, it's I think a little bit faster than with InDesign, and I'm also having like paragraph formats and all those things that I just need, which just makes everything a bit faster. And yeah, I weirdly gravitated towards it just right from the beginning on. I thought like, well, I'm gonna do this in Pages. Maybe even in Word. I think Word works really fine for something like that as well. Like, I don't know, it's not gonna be a typographical masterpiece, but I'm also not trying to do that. I'm trying to just make a fucking script that it is just neat, it looks good, is structured, feels good, is organized, and all these things. And I just don't need that much freedom for doing that, I believe, at least. Of course, in some instances, it is a good thing, especially when it comes to images and whatnot, but yeah. Tip 26, slow it down even slower than you think. When we learn how to do something new, our immediate urge is to do it again faster, but do it slower. Which, by the way, I don't know, but I feel like that it is often the case that it makes sense to break your intuitivity and be like, well, no, I'm just gonna do it the right opposite of it. Quite, I think it often makes sense. Tip 27, close your eyes. Closing your eyes is a swifter way to nudge you to the edge of your ability, to get you into your sweet spot. It sweeps away distraction and engages your other senses to provide new feedback. It helps you engrave the blueprint of a task on your brain by asking even a familiar skill seems strange and fresh. Well, I don't know in which way you can tell somebody to do that or advise somebody to do that, because I don't know, like, I mean, if you're just surfing or some shit, don't close your eyes. It's dangerous, then it is just not a good thing to do, and also not that of a smart thing to do, if you will. Tip 28, mime it. Removing everything except the essential action lets you focus on what matters most, making the right reach. I see, and I think it makes sense. Like, I think it is some sort of a part of the other thing, like by just having a smaller space, you have to really focus on the stuff that really matters, and there's not really a lot of things just don't matter. And I think it is something good everywhere. Like, what it is about learning maths, just learning the right exercises, learning the right tasks. Like, if you don't need a task, why the fuck would you learn it? Unless it helps you with something else, whether it is by understanding it and or by just doing it and just having the process and having the continuity and all those things. But just, yeah, indeed, minimize all the things. Just don't have unnecessary bullshit, because it's unnecessary bullshit. Quite. Tip 29. When you get it right, mark the spot. When you have your first perfect rep, freeze. Rewind the mental tape and play the move again in your head or mind. Memorize the feeling, the rhythm, the physical and mental sensation. The point is to mark this moment. This is the spot where you want to go again and again. This is not the finish. It is the new starting line for perfecting a skill until it becomes automatic. And at some point, it's gonna be automatic. And if you're doing this specific thing really, really long, you're gonna get really good. You're really gonna get really good. Tip 30, take a nap. It helps strengthen the connections formed during practice and prepare the brain for the next session. And by the way, just sleep well. It is something that I see every single time when I just don't sleep as much as I should be sleeping. And maybe even sleep as well as I want to sleep and should be sleeping, but I can't concentrate. And I have seen it, and I've kind of subconsciously tried it out, because also with today I feel really unproductive because first of all, I've just taken 1 hour out of my day, I think even 1.5 hours, to just think about some shit. Something a decision that I have to make, and it is a very, very difficult decision for me at least. And even though like it's so binary, to be honest. Like, it is so, like, I see the cons, I see the pros, and the thing is, and the also problem about this thing is, I could actually kind of talk about it openly, and there's nothing to hide there. It is about school, and it is about me being in school or me just doing the distance learning thing. So we could either be in school and learn stuff there for specific subjects, primarily those subjects that we are going to have our A levels in, which is mathematics, graphic design theory, basically, and I'm also having German as one. So I'm having 3 subjects. The only subject that I really kind of considered going to, like as me present in the school, is maths. The thing is, if I get ill because of some reason, I really hope that is not going to be the case, I can't take my fucking A levels. I can't just take my fucking SAT, or however you want to call it. I don't know. And this is a big problem, because then I have to wait till, I think, November or something, September, something like this. So actually quite some time. And it is fucked up, especially because I have to do something else. Because in Austria, we're having to do, as man, we have to do something for the civil population, if this makes sense. I don't think so, but the thing is, I have to, in total, drive with the train or use the train, go by train to school around 2 hours in total. It depends on which, the smallest amount of time is going to take me is, I think, 1.5 hours there and just back home and stuff, without actually the walking thing, just sitting in a train and then going to the destination. Then where I am at, I also have to just take a bus, so just have to go by foot and stuff. So this is the biggest problem. I just really want to be in school. I really want to be in school. I just miss the people so much, and I miss just being in school so much. And it is the only time in school that I'm having left, basically. Which means I am now in school or I am not. In terms of I'm never ever going to be in school again after this, besides just taking my A-levels and stuff. This is the only time, but it is 5 days or some shit for 5 hours. So it's going to be 25 hours. Actually, more than a day. What the fuck? More than a day. It's pretty interesting. More than a day of exams in just 5 days. So we could also just do it on one day. Let's do it like this. So the problem is, it is a little bit difficult because I do want to be in school. This is the essence of the whole story. I do want to be in school, but it is, I think, not the smartest thing to do. Quite. Especially also because if you're in school, then you're going to have 2 meters of just distance between you and the next person. So it is strange. I know it is strange because just because I'm thinking about it, it just has to be in every single direction. So if you just sit in a row, then there has to be nobody in front of you, nobody behind you, because the rows are way too close to each other and stuff. So, and 2 meters is actually quite something, to be honest. Is my table, is it just 2 meters? I don't necessarily, I'm not even 2 meters. So no, it is quite some space. So, which is also another point. Well, anyway, tip 31. To learn a new move, exaggerate it. Go too far so you can feel the outer edges of the move and then work on building the skill with precision. I see. Tip 32, make positive reaches. Reach for what you want to accomplish, not away from what you want to avoid. I think it's just about focus, isn't it? Focusing on the stuff that you want to do and that you want to have, instead of just focus on the stuff that you do not want to have. Tip 33, to learn from a book, close the book. Closing the book and writing a summary forces you to figure out the key points one set of reaches. Yes, indeed. It's a really good one. Process and organize those ideas so they make sense, more reaches, and write them on the page, still more reaches along with repetition. Yes, indeed. It is something that I'm doing always, every single time. First of all, when I'm learning something, then I'm most often gonna just make myself a summary. But if you do it yourself, or if you make yourself a summary, then I think it is a very important thing to I think writing by hand can be a pretty good thing, especially if you're just trying to repeat everything. Then I don't know, I think I've just written down so much over and over and over again for subjects that just about learning, art history. I'm just having, 300 pages probably in total, completely written fully, with some notes and some stuff that I am just trying to remember and trying to think about. And I think it's just a good way to do that, especially also for the exam then, or for the test then, to figure out if you're fast enough, to figure out whether you know how to write all these things. There's a lot of different things. Of course, it depends on whether you're just taking your exam on a computer or not, but I don't know. Tip 34. Use the sandwich technique. Make the correct move, make the incorrect move, make the correct move again. The goal is to reinforce the correct move and to put a spotlight on the mistake, which is interesting. Which is really, I think it is a good thing, because you're just then gonna notice what the difference between those two moves are, especially when it is about something physical. Just shooting a ball, throwing a ball, all those things. Even though correct and incorrect might not be that applicable to that as words, but you can throw a ball in a perfect way or in a better way and also in a worse way, I would say. Tip 35. Use the 3x10 technique. Our brains make strong connections when they're stimulated 3 times with a rest period of 10 minutes between each stimulation. To learn something most effectively, practice in 3 times with 10-minute breaks between each rep. I see. I think this is a good one, even though like I'm having a real big problem with all those things. Like I do not want to just wait 10 minutes and do nothing. Of course, in the long run, it might just be a good idea, as it actually is with working out as well. If you do just want to work out with high volume, you need to have relatively high rest, because you're not going to be able to push through the whole workout. When it is like, I don't know, 1.5 hours, 2 hours or something, then having a little bit of more just rest time makes sense for being able to go for this volume that you're trying to go for. Tip 36, invent daily tests. What's one key element of the skill ? How can I isolate my accuracy or reliability and measure it? How can I make it fun, quickly and repeatable so I can track my progress? So what is the key element of the skill? Very important. How can I isolate my accuracy or reliability and measure it? Yeah, good thing, I guess. Even though, like, I don't know. I always have to think about maths, because this is what I have to learn at this point of time, and also just some other shit. But how do I don't know. Of course, I can make a task over and over again, but I don't really think that this is what I should be doing, quite. And I don't really think that it is like too smart to do something over and over and over and over again. Like, of course, then afterwards you're able to do that, but I don't know, like it's not about doing them in repetition, but it's about understanding the concept and being able to flexibly just use this concept in a different way or with a different task. Tip 37. To choose the best practice method, use the REP as gauge. R for reaching and repeating. Does the practice have you operating on the edge of your ability, reaching and repeating? Engagement. Is the practice immersive? Does it command your attention? Does it use emotion to propel you forward or toward a goal? P. Purposefulness. Does the task directly connect to skill you want to build? S. Strong, speedy feedback. Does the learner receive a stream of accurate information about his performance, where he succeeded and where he made mistakes? Pay attention to the design of your practice. Small changes in the method can create large increases in learning velocity. Yeah, which I think is just what we all want to have, isn't it? You know, because it is something exponential, and it is a cool thing because if you learn something and you see that you're progressing really fast, then you're also, I think, more eager to learn more of it, because you know it's just going to be fast and you know you're going to be good all along. And so it's going to be progressively like just learning really a lot, which is cool. Pretty cool. Tip 38. Stop before you're exhausted. Fatigue slows brains. It triggers errors, lessens concentration and leads to shortcuts that create bad habits. I've seen that as well before, but I don't know where. Tip 39. Practice immediately after performance. The mistakes are fresh in my mind. Tip 40, and which is probably going to be the last one for today. Just before sleep, watch a mental movie. Play a movie of your idealized performance in your head. I think that's a cool one. Just imagining myself sitting down in my A-levels and just being really happy and being really good and just knowing that everything is going to be fine and stuff. I think it's cool. I think it's cool. I think it's a cool thing. But yeah, I think I'm going to end the episode there. I'm pretty happy with it. I think there's a few things that are pretty cool, pretty important, pretty necessary, pretty cool, I would say. And now I get tired once again, but I don't know why. Maybe because of eating. Probably because of eating. But yeah, the question of today is, can you do something for somebody to really make their life better? His or her life. Yeah, with that being said, I wish you the best health, happiness, and also success, and also hope that you're going to remind yourself and you're going to be remembered. So basically means your legacy basically means just being a nice person, then being remembered as a nice person, which is a good thing, you know, legacy. It's a cool thing. 3 other questions that I'm having for you are, why are you here? What are you trying to change? And what is bothering you the most? These 3 questions are hopefully going to show you your purpose and maybe even a business idea, which is cool and important and nice. And yeah, I'm hopefully going to see you the next time. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for the attention, the time, and everything. And yeah, I'll see you. I hope, at least. Bye-bye.